Alright, y'all. I don't think I've done an EDC any sort on this channel yet. I've been kind of going with one single bag, and it was a Maxpedition bag. I don't remember the name of it, but been carrying it for a while, and I tend to really pack it full of stuff. And I've been wanting something a little more organized, a little more streamlined. I like a sling pack, so I picked up this VanQuest. I believe it's called a Pilum or Pilum or something like that. Looking back on it, I wish I would have gone with the, I think it's the, was it the Trident 20? It's still a sling pack, but it's got the admin panel on the front, because this one does not have an admin panel. But I do like that this is kind of completely, it doesn't look real tactical or anything like that. It's got webbing and stuff on it. But it's a nice size bag for me, and I really like the organization that VanQuest offers. Over here, since this does not have a main admin panel on the front, I got this pocket over here. I just unzip, flip it open, and in here on the little hook I have a spare set of keys to my vehicle. I have some pens, black and blue. I've got a multicolor, a Sharpie. I've got, should the case ever arise where I leave the house without a pocket knife, now I have one. It's rare for me to ever leave the house without a pocket knife. A backup flashlight. This is a Phoenix PD22. It's a good light. Keep that in here. Keep this in here. This is a Benchmade Barrage, I think. Yeah, I think it's a Barrage. Could be wrong on that. Then in here, I am a smoker, so it's a good thing for me to have a spare lighter. This is my backup lighter. I keep a piece of rubber inner tube on here, and I always try to use white lighters because you can see how much fluid you have left in them. This next pocket, I've got a small lockpick set. This is not for anything illegal. This is because I like to know how to do this kind of stuff in the case that I need to get into something of my own house or my own vehicle or anything like that. I've got a couple different shims here for bypassing padlocks. I've got a couple Bogatas. I've got a rake and a single pick. It's like a half diamond, and each of them have a tension wrench on the other end of them. So, and then I have a couple slim shims, and these are more for the combination padlocks you put on like a briefcase or a suitcase or something like that. These are really thin, so they'll bypass those kind of locks. And so I keep that in there. And then in this pocket I also have a thing of Burt's Bees kind of chapstick. And then in here I have a field notes, just in case I ever need to make notes of anything. And this is just like it's got fingernail clippers and a Swiss Army knife, Cadet in here. It's got the little file. If I get like a hangnail or something, I can just file it off. Stuff like that. I can keep my nails trimmed. And so that's this pocket here. It's a little overstuffed on this pocket. So that's the pocket I would access the most probably. This is a really nice bag. It's got, you could use a hydration bladder, or you could use this for this port here for putting your headphones through. You can clip stuff in. It's got a nice shoulder strap on it with a secondary strap that goes across. And what I like about this is when I'm wearing it, I can reach behind my right side, grab this handle and swing it around, and it's sitting in front of me like this. So the interior I have organized as if it was up against my body. And the stuff here, which is the hardest for me to get to when it is up against my body, that's the stuff I would use the least. And then working over to the stuff I use the most on this side. One other thing right here is I have my handgun, my carry gun in here, and a alien gear holster. This holster is really good holster, but I'm wanting to go to something a little bit slimmer and trimmer, because this is kind of a pain to lug around. It carries well though. It is nice to carry. I mean, it spreads the load pretty evenly, and I've never had any trouble with it. But I'm probably going to switch over to this whole interior in here is hook and loop, and I'm going to try to get one of their hook and loop holsters, and also 2 extra hook and loop mag things in here for holding a couple extra magazines. So that's in there. And then going to the interior, I'll have it face you so you can see what I'm talking about with the way I have it arranged. Usually there's 2 zippers here. This one I won't touch because that'll get down into the section that I don't access very often, and that also allows things to fall out. So I just lift it over to here, and this accesses the entire inside of the bag. I'll unzip it a little bit. So I've got this rig, like I said, this is the stuff I would use the least. Going up into the stuff I would use the most. I left this compartment empty in case, you know, I go shopping or something and find something I want to put in here, so I don't have a bunch of shopping bags sitting around in the back seat. So we'll go through these internal pockets on the sides first. This one here is kind of meant for like to be a pencil pocket, I think. But what I've got in here is a Cliff Bar Builder's Protein. It's got 20 grams of protein. One of the things I found with my old EDC bag is, like, if we go to say a doctor's office and I'm waiting out in the car and I end up getting hungry, I've got something to snack on now. I've also got some beef jerky in here, just teriyaki, and normally I carry some gum and some mints. Right now I've got some Mentos in here, just to kind of give me something to snack on if I get hungry and we're not ready to eat yet or whatever. There's a Velcro pouch here. There's actually 2 Velcro pouches here. This one, all that's in here is a small boo-boo kit. This has got stuff for minor cuts and a few bandaging materials, some afterburn, or some burn cream. I think it's got some sting relief pads and stuff like that. Nothing major, just a boo-boo kit. I would like to carry a trauma pack in my vehicle, just because I've come across car accidents before where I was the only person on the scene and had to, not that I'm a first responder of any sort, but I have had some medical training, and I've had to pull people out of cars before that were, one was on fire and the guy was unconscious inside the car, and so I had to pull him out of the car. And so I would like to have some sort of trauma kit and get the training to use it appropriately, because I'm not going to carry like a suture kit or a airway kit or any of that stuff and not know how to use it. I think that's ignorant to try to use that stuff if you don't have the training for it. But over here in this second pocket, we do a lot of traveling, and a lot of times we do unplanned woods trips, to where we don't really plan on going out, but then we end up going out. So I ended up putting like a micro bushcraft kit in here. What I've got in here is a Silky Pocket Boy saw, just a really small compact saw. I've got a Adirondack, or no, this is a Adventure Sworn walker, and you can see it's well used. I'm going to clean it up. I'm one of those weird people that like my knives to be nice and shiny and clean and sharp, because just because your knife is dirty doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, you've used it, but that just because mine's clean doesn't mean I haven't used it. Plus, I find that a clean, polished knife cuts better than one that's all gummed up with all kinds of sap and stuff. And a sheath that I made myself. So I got that in there. And then the last two items, I've got a small ferro rod and a piece of wet fire. I didn't want to put too much stuff in here because this is like a small compartment where it's like, it's not something that happens a lot, but I wanted to have something just in case. And then one more compartment before we get into the middle. Over here is a laptop slash hydration bladder sleeve, and in here I don't have a hydration bladder. I do have a tablet. This is just a cheap LG tablet. One thing I do like about this tablet is I have full, I've got memory card in here, I've got a one of those pens that writes on tablets, and then I've got a, where's it at? Somewhere on here there is a little, there it is right there. I can open this up and get full USB what do you call it, compatibility, where I can plug anything USB into here. One thing I like to do, which we'll get into in a minute, is transfer files or pictures or whatever off my phone using a thumb drive, and I can transfer it onto my tablet as backup. Also that USB would allow me to plug in a keyboard if I wanted to. It just gives me more options. I've got a bigger tablet, but I chose to carry my smaller one just because it gives me more options this way where the bigger one did not. So I carry my tablet. And then also, I don't really write checks very often, but I've been finding myself needing it and not having it with me. So I went ahead and put one in here, put my checkbook in here. That way if I do need it, I've got it, but it's so slim and flat that it's not really in my way at all. And then I just kind of strap this in here. Okay, so for the main compartment, I'm going to orient this bag as if it was on me. So in the areas that I use the least is back in here. And what I've got in here is, this is a slingshot ammo pouch. You open the top and you can fill it up, which it's full of ammo right now. And then you open this bottom and there's a magnet here, so you can just kind of squeeze some out and it'll stick to that magnet. It's got a belt loop on the back, and I can just pull ammo off here and shoot it. I like shooting slingshots. I also have a slingshot in here. This is a, I believe they call this the Torque from simpleshot.com. I'm still learning to use this one. I've got snapped a couple times because it's one of the kind that you can slip the bands in this way. You have to remember to put them over the top and shoot. I'm still getting used to it. The ergonomics of this one, I just don't like them as much. I'd like something that fills my hand a little more because I got big paws. So I have slingshot ammo and a slingshot. I guess you could call that part of my bushcraft kit, but sometimes I just want to, you know, shoot some cans or something out in the yard. Also in here I have a pouch, and I kind of consider this my maintenance pouch. So in here I have, this is a brush and a swab for my handgun if I need to clean them. I need to get a little rod or something to push these through. I've been pushing them through with the pen because it's such a short distance on my barrel. But I've actually found out that the threads on these match up with my arrow real well. So I might try to make a little rod out of a piece of arrow. So I have these in here just because if I carry my gun a lot, I find that the barrel gets full of like pocket lint and it gets all nasty, so I like to have it clean. So I keep that in there. This pouch here has a full Leatherman bit kit, which includes a lot of the Torx bits that would work on knives, so I can do knife maintenance if I need to, along with a lot of other bits. And I also have the driver in here, which I think that Leatherman should make a ratcheting driver. Same as this, but just have a ratcheting head on it. I think that'd make things a lot more useful. So I keep the Leatherman bit kit in here. Also in here, I keep a little nylon brush. Just a real stiff bristled brush. This is for knife maintenance or gun maintenance, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you get a pocket knife, you've been carrying it for a while, you get it full of lint and stuff, you need to clean it out. Same thing with your gun. So keep that in there. Leatherman Charge. This is, I believe, a TTI or TI or something like that. So this is well used. I just recently kind of tuned this one up a little bit. One of the things I did is, since I have a full bit kit, I don't need a flathead screwdriver in here, so I went ahead and sharpened this thing down. Let's see if I can get it on camera. Where you at? There we go. I sharpened this thing down to a chisel point so I can use it like a wood chisel. That's one of the things I've done. I have plans to make a awl out of a regular screwdriver bit, like out of a one you'd have in your house, and then so it'll fit the Leatherman bit driver, and then I've got the bit driver in here. All that good stuff that's on the Leatherman Charge. This is a little screwdriver that I had in there before I got the bit kit, but this is extendable. Didn't mean to do that. This is extendable. It's magnetic. You can tighten it down, and then as you saw in the back end, it's spring loaded, and there's a bunch of different bits, mostly Torx bits, again for knife maintenance. If I need to take a knife apart for whatever reason, then I can. And you basically just twist the top and it allows you to slot one in and pops out. But I'm going to go ahead and put these back in there so I don't lose them, and then put this little cap back on like that. So I got that in there. A little bit of Tough Glide, mainly for knives, but I can put this on my gun if I need to. I would like to get a couple prepackaged, like gun cleaning swabs, like with the cleaner, and then one with the oil on it, maybe in a little plastic bag or something, so I've got them. This is a Fulniven DC4 for sharpening knives, and that's the extent of my maintenance kit. I may add a little bit here or there, whatever. Then in this compartment, this is kind of like my hygiene / medical needs or whatever. This little guy here, I consider my mobile pharmacy. I got it out of the fishing aisle at one of the camping stores. Open this guy up. I've got Tylenol, Advil, Benadryl. I got a spot for Loperamide, which is anti-diarrhea medicine. Some NyQuil. I will put some Dayquil in here because that's always good to have. Some what is this? Pepsid. And then I've got my normal medications in here. This is mostly backup in case we get stuck out of town or something. A spare handkerchief. I usually always carry one in my back pocket, but I like to have a spare. I'm one of those weird people that doesn't like to have a pile of tissues. I use a handkerchief, and you can blow your nose on it a couple dozen times, wash it, and it's good as new. I know nowadays people think that's gross, but it's good for other things too. And I have a thing where if it's clean, I leave it folded, and it goes in my back pocket folded. But if I've blown my nose on it or done something nasty with it once, it gets wadded up and put in my pocket. So I know the difference between it being clean and dirty. But you can clean your phone screen, you can filter water, you can use it as bandage material, all kinds of stuff. So I like to have a spare handkerchief in here. I have a ton of toilet paper in here because, again, I travel a lot. Sometimes you go into a truck stop bathroom or something and they won't have any toilet paper. This is a inhaler, a nasal inhaler that's got a bunch of natural oils that my fiance made for me, and it really does help clear your nose. Yeah, it's got a bunch of essential oils in it. And then in this end, this is kind of my charging section. This is a Maxpedition pouch, but in here I have some iPhone headphones. Even though I don't have an iPhone, I love their headphones. I've got a charging cable. not my main charging cable. This is to charge my backup stuff like my tablet or the charging station for my Olight. I carry an S10R baton, S10R baton, rechargeable, so I could plug this thing in and set my flashlight on it and it'll charge up. The wall plug for my cord, and then let's see. Then I have a Anker Astro E5 in here. This is just a battery backup. I can turn this thing on. I can charge 2 devices at once. Has a little flashlight, and then I just plug it in to recharge it. So that's always good to have. And then in the front of this pouch, I have a few little odds and ends. Kind of hard to get out of here. I have a little, this is a micro SD card reader. This came with my phone. I've got a Galaxy S8. This allows my phone to accept any what's the word I'm looking for? It basically lets me plug in anything I want, pretty much. I can plug in, like, this guy here, this little thumb drive, USB, that's the word I'm looking for. I can plug in a USB drive and let that plug into my phone. I can transfer pictures, I can transfer files, I can do all kinds of stuff with it. Plug in keyboards, mouses, whatever I want. It's a really cool gadget, so I keep that in there. Again, a thumb drive, because I like to back up my pictures and files. And then sometimes I carry a camera, so I carry a SD card and a 32 gig SD card, and let us see, what is that? 32 gig micro SD card. Just because I think it's a good thing to have. That's all the snap pocket, and then inside here I just have a backup set of earbuds that came with my phone. They're not that great, but they're backups, and then a little pack of spare rubber pieces for it. And then that's it. That's my entire EDC bag. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. And until the next one, thank you for watching.